Today's videos is on hardware.
Today, yeah, lots of it, bro. We got lots of it. Hardware. No, today's video is on shit. Lots of it. We're doing a fuel rail. We're doing an intake manifold. We're doing a valve cover. We're doing an oil filter cover. We're doing a eBay catch can. My favorite. And then hardware. Injectors. Fuel line. Fittings. And that's it.
Mold power.
Just kidding. Yeah, so we're doing a valve cover, port injection, a new oil filter cap, and then fixing the catch can setup that's on the car currently because it's trash. And then turn up power.
Yeah.
Lots of power. Maybe we'll blow up the 17Ts finally.
Finally, right? Over a year.
It's been a year and a half, I think.
The best $700 spent.
Oh, also this. You can't really see it, but this is the head port block off kit. So when you do the valve cover, typically on like this, like aftermarket valve cover, you have to block off the head ports because it's meant for a stock PCV system. So since we're going to use an aftermarket vent to atmosphere-ish system with new fittings like these, we're going to block off the head ports, which should help with the carbon buildup and also look cool, because who doesn't want to look cool?
I'm sure you're not going to have to worry about carbon buildup with that over there.
Yeah, these. So these will go like right there, and then they'll do all the cleaning for you. So let's look in the engine bay of the car. Jeez.
Action.
Ta-da!
Wow.
So
Looks like pasta day in there.
there's a bunch of shit going on in this engine bay. So as you can see, no cowl. We have an eBay catch can. eBay. And then fucking disgusting wire or a vacuum line here. You know, block off by me for loose leaf. There's wires here, line here, stock manifold, stock valve cover, which I'll show you in a bit. There's more wires here. There's just random ass hoses here.
Talking about eBay. eBay
has responded. So the main goal is pretty much to fix whatever the fuck's going on here and make it look pretty. Since all this shit just looks like a fucking pile of bird's nest. It's like JB4 in your DME box.
Yeah, exactly.
And then also this. We're gonna change that guy to the metal one, make it look prettier. I was gonna get a thermostat housing. That was aftermarket, but I'm broke because we got a shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of spending.
There's a lot of stuff going on in here.
Yep. So that's gonna be later on, but oh yeah, also my starter went out. That's why the car's been down for I don't know, God knows how long now.
Yeah, I had to go and help this man out. He was stuck at the gas station.
So in order to do the starter, you got to remove the manifold, and while I have the manifold, I'm also going to do the high pressure fuel pump. So high pressure fuel pump, new manifold, port injection, block off head ports, valve cover, do a new PCV setup, clean up wiring, and this video is going to be really fucking long. Or it's going to be multiple videos, I don't know.
Throwing money at 335 like a stripper, boy.
Well, this was like collecting parts for like weeks. So let's go back to the assembly line. We have brand new OEM high pressure fuel pump that I've been keeping in the car, literally in the car, because I didn't know when it was going to give out. It hasn't given out yet, and we've been pushing the car for over a year. But I think it's time to go ahead and do it just as preventative maintenance. And since we're going to turn up power, fuel is going to be your number one thing that's going to play effect in it. This is the best upgrade right here. Yeah.
So that's the only thing that I've never changed on both my E93 and E90. I've never changed the starter.
Well,
Never needed to.
yeah, it's a good thing because I went to a gas station and then got food, came out, and I was like, sick.
Push start.
Yep. Because it tried to crank once and then it didn't want to crank at all. So, let's see. Close this guy. I think there's core charge on this, core charge on that. I ain't returning that core charge. This one I am. eBay or Amazon, whichever one. Vargas. This one is CTS. Injectors, they all come with the manifold. Everything as far as hardware goes to install this manifold comes with vacuum lines, fuel feed, return, whatever, injectors, all the brackets and things like that all comes in the package, which you can order from that guy. Vehicle Wireless. And you can actually get it pretty fast.
Yeah, this manifold came in less than a week.
Yeah, so if you want to go port injection, I think this is the cheapest route.
Yeah.
That looks the best because you can go with this.
Yeah, it's a more affordable option, but obviously you're gonna have to rock the stock manifold.
So this goes in between your manifold. I'm not even gonna show it because that one has oil in it. But it goes in between your manifold, but the injectors have to point upwards.
Yeah.
So it's fighting against gravity, thus it's not really efficient as this one because it points downwards and the injectors actually fire into the valves.
It's a lot more effective. It's efficient.
Which is why you're actually switching your manifold.
Yeah, because mine are bottom mounted, not top mounted.
Yeah, but it's also easier to service your injectors, or if you have to plug in a new harness, just literally unclip it, put the new harness on, and then go on about it. The only issue with this kit is this. So, there's a manifold right there. I can show you. So, same manifold, but it's already pretty much assembled. You have the fuel rail, 6 injectors, and then underneath there's some vacuum fittings for like a blow-off valve, or you can also put a hop switch for a secondary fuel pump. When you plug this guy in, like so, for one, the angle's wrong, because it's supposed to be angled down. So when you do this, it's not very forgiving. I don't know if you can see, but
Yeah, you can see it.
second thing is you have to connect to a high pressure line. How are you supposed to do that? So there's a deficiency in this. It's not a big deal. It's not. But it's just something to know if you buy this kit. But that's the only issue with the kit. Otherwise, it works perfectly fine. Everything's good. The only thing you have to do is buy this line and just extend it, and then maybe buy a fitting that's a 90 degree instead of a 45, which would fix it. And I can show you right now. 2 fuel lines one is from this kit and one is from the other motor. And as you can see, they both have the same length. One is actually even shorter. It is human-made line. It's not a machine that makes a line. So all you need to do is buy a fitting like this. I believe it's -6 line. Fitting, which turns into a 90, And when you put it on the manifold like this, it actually goes around and it doesn't hit your firewall, which I'll show you when we install it. And then all you have to do is buy a -6 line. You can buy a braided or whatever it is. Insert the new fitting, take this end and insert the fitting on that side and just extend the line maybe like by that much. And that fixes everything. Not a big deal.
Sure.
Yes. Otherwise, the kit is pretty good. Manifold is solid.
Beefy.
You have, I think, what's the options on your site? 750 cc's. And then you can get 500. I think it's
no, I think it's just 750 cc's because you can get the kit without the injectors, with the injectors for N54, and then without the injectors, with the injectors for N55.
yeah. So
It's only one option.
yeah. So the manifold works on N55, N54.
Yeah. The N55 one is slightly more expensive, but they're almost pretty much the same.
Yeah, and the only difference in the N55s are the bottom, because the bottom the DME has to get mounted on.
Yeah.
So it's got a different fucking configuration on the bottom. And then as far as buying the manifold itself, you can buy it with the 750s, like you said, or you can buy it without it. And if you buy it without it, then you just get the injector plugs, which are $60 from BMS. And you just insert them in there, put the rail on, and that's it. You don't have to run port injection. You can just run the manifold. It looks
better and it's more reliable for sure. And you're not going to break that nipple off.
Or even if you buy these injectors and you install everything, let's say you put the rail on and all of that, and then you don't want to run port injection just yet, or you don't want to buy a controller, you can still run it. You're just not activating the injectors. So that's another option. As far as the valve cover, I bought it through Euro Tuning. They're local to like Tampa area. This was, I think it was like $6.99 without any options. This is a cast version. It's not a billet. The billet version I think is a little bit more.
Yeah, like $1,400, I think.
Yeah. So you can get that option as well, and they also have the carbon fiber version, which I don't know how much faith I have in carbon fiber and hot ass engine bay, but
yeah,
who knows? I don't.
I wonder if it's just a carbon fiber layer over an aluminum.
It's the
yeah,
skeeters.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's full carbon fiber. I didn't really.
I think it is carbon fiber. I mean, the bottom I think it's like aluminum, and then
it just overlay it. Yeah, that's what I think so too.
But I feel like carbon would just like crack on the corners.
Yeah, it
would
would warp.
Yeah. So I went with cask as the cheapest option, and cheap.
Yeah.
That's the best explanation I had.
Yeah.
And the reason why I went with this is because the rear PCV fitting thingy-majig on mine just keeps leaking because it's sucking air, and it's just like the fitting is just not tight.
Yeah.
So might as well go with the upgrade and then not ever change your valve cover, because I never have to pay for a valve cover ever again.
Yeah, and those OEM valve covers are like $300-400.
Yeah, I mean you pay twice as much once, and you don't have to spend it later down the line.
Yeah.
It's just like buying a performance radiator versus OEM.
Yep. One
cracks in like 3 years or 2 years, whatever. The other one doesn't really crack unless you fucking hit some shit.
Yeah.
This, just aesthetics. That's all it is. And then also the valve cover comes with standard hardware like this. It's just stainless steel, black hardware. You can pick, I think, options as far as colors. I picked black, but then I also chose titanium. These are titanium black hardware that goes like so.
Oh, I like that, red and black.
So originally I picked those, but then something happened with the oil cap, because I was buying a different oil cap, and then I said just send me this instead. That is an upgrade as well. And then also you can run their catch cans. I didn't buy it because that shit was expensive. It's like $500. $100. And all you have to do is buy lines. So that's 10 lines here, and you just buy accordingly as far as your valve cover. That's 10 lines. So all you do is just plug it in, and then you use that's 10 lines.
Lines for days.
So that's 10 lines. Same thing, Amazon. And it's not really crucial that you have, you know, like a small vacuum leak or something like that, because it is just vacuum from your valve cover. It's not like a fuel line or anything like that, so that's why I just went with Amazon lines. They're cheap, and they actually come with a catch can, which I'll have a link in the description for the catch can and the lines. Like I said, the starter's bad. High pressure fuel pump is maintenance. And yes.
Yes.
I guess we'll go ahead and take the car apart now or maybe tomorrow, but it will all be in the same video.
Sure.
So
I start.
I start. Alright, so it's been a decade since we started our intro because people had to leave and do things. So we're gonna set up the intake manifold first before we start tearing apart the engine bay. I won't do much talking because it's a lot of just stuff that's like explanatory if you're doing this. So I'll just show you guys how it's done and then we'll go from there. That's done. The only thing you have to do is transfer your map sensor on this, and the manifold is ready to go. Besides that, obviously the throttle body as well. Let's see. So while we have the valve cover off and the intake manifold off, we're going to do the head port block off, which should be fun. So it's like really, really tiny little pieces that will get threaded on into the head. And I'll show you guys, I'll explain it once I'm done.
Once we have the manifold off and stuff.
As far as this, I don't think I'm going to show how to take off everything.
Yeah, intake manifolds, they're annoying, but everybody knows how to take them off, I feel like.
You'll be surprised.
You can show a time lapse.
Yeah, we'll show you guys time lapse, but it won't be anything
In depth.
crazy. Valve cover, look up the tutorial on how to change your valve cover.
I think Christian has a video of that.
I don't know if he does. But I'm not doing it. It's too much work.
Under that cover has way too many things to take off.
This is the last time you'll see this cover on this motor.
I didn't even think about that.
Yep.
Everything's gonna be so much more simplified now.
Yeah.
Alright. Last time you'll see this cluster right here.
Well, this will still be here, but
It'll be beautiful though. Look at this. Crusty.
well, there's. So yeah, the back cylinder 5 and 6 area is just like covered in oil, which is what I was talking about before. Like how the spark plug and everything in there just gets wet. So kind of have to get in there, dry everything out, hit it with brake clean, make sure the valley is clean before we install the new valve cover. And then we're also gonna block off these ports. These are the head ports for the PCV. So it's a good idea to block them off when you're doing a external PCV. Well, it's a requirement almost, I guess you could say. And since we're doing all this work, might as well do that at the same time since we have the manifold off. And when you do drill this, the shavings get inside, so you have to vacuum it out, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. So the reason I'm putting grease on this is so the shavings just stick on it.
Yep.
It doesn't go all over the place. And I'm just gonna stick it into the intake port. And hopefully we don't get any shavings in the motor.
Also, another trick is the bit. You put some of that same exact Vaseline or lube on there, and it'll catch all the shavings.
Yeah. Okay. This does go on an angle, so you don't have to
Yeah,
go straight with it.
you can see the angle follows down over here.
And also you have to watch for the shavings to go inside the motor, like up top. Which is why I put more grease on there. Make sure you don't drop it in the motor. So not quite sure if there's a torque spec for this, but I just tightened it until it gets pretty tight. We're gonna go ahead and do the rest of the 5. Obviously, I'm not gonna show you because it's the same shit over and over. So this one is done. You guys saw it was pretty easy. Just have to make sure that you don't drop anything under the cam trays, and you don't drop anything into the cylinder, like the valve area, because if that fitting drops in there, you're buying a new motor. Because good luck getting it out. And the same thing with shavings. You don't want any shavings, obviously, for the reasons that most people know about.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do the rest of the 5, and then we'll get the new valve cover on.
Yeah, I think it picked it up on that one.
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 and 6 are close to each other because the one cylinder points different direction, but the rest of them are going same direction. This is something you don't want to do if you don't trust yourself, because you can drop something in the motor, you can leave shavings in the motor. There's a bunch of different things that can happen where it can lock up your motor, blow up your motor, whatever the case is.
Send metal shavings everywhere. That's never good.
So if you don't trust yourself to do this job, I definitely wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
This was like an ass clenching moment for myself because I was too afraid to drop something in there and never find it. Since that's done, now we can put the valve cover back on, which is, like I said in the beginning, you can use these screws. These are just regular hardware, or you can use titanium hardware that they offer. I got black because the valve cover is red, black accents, black accent, black accent, so they do have the titanium, like actual titanium option. So we're gonna put this thing on, tighten everything, and then put everything back on the valve cover side, and then we'll switch over to the intake manifold side. That's it. Key is not to scratch it.
If you do, catching it on camera.
Shut up. When you're putting this on, you will most likely have interference with the injectors because they are all in a weird position. But mine are cooperating pretty well. So
Look at that. Oh, it's dope.
what does it look like on camera?
Red.
Alright. Doesn't look that fancy, I don't think. But it sounded cool when I was ordering it, so I was like, might as well.
Well, I'm sure they do like that, what do they call it? Like neochrome,
Yeah.
whatever.
Those I guess look a little cooler, but again, this is a red valve cover. It will look really odd.
You just needed it for function.
Yep. The fitment of the screws and the valve cover overall seems okay for now, from what I can see right now. I'm gonna place all the hardware first, and then we'll tighten everything. And if you do get this valve cover and let's say 10,000 miles or something like that, it starts leaking, they do offer a replacement gasket, so you don't have to replace the whole valve cover, obviously.
So far, most of the outer bolts going easily. But what he was complaining about was the ones that go down here and over here. Look. don't you grab a slice of pizza? You're not here when you're hungry.
Yeah, you heard me. Mosquito. Yeah, that's where we're gonna end this.
I guess.
We're gonna tighten the bolts, put the hardware on, and then on the next video, you guys will see the end product, which would be the valve cover and then the manifold all together. So the finished product will be on the next video. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.
That's it?
Bye.